Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Andrew Morales, your host here alongside KNN anchors Derek Stamp and Stephen Hanley.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, guys, the home game last week was a great one. The game of the week for First Coast News, and I really think the Knights fans showed Dan Hicken and Chad Kushner and pretty much all of Jacksonville that the Knights fans are the best. Stephen, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, just you said it. I mean, we showed them that even Dan Hicken just said his compliments were so awesome. Said that our student body was the best he'd ever seen. Just the students being out here an hour before the game, even more so about their tailgating. And it was just a great all-around game last week. Close matchup, but it was just great to see the Knights come out on top.
Right, okay. Thank you, Stephen. Derek, what are your comments on last week's game?
Andrew, the atmosphere was great. The fans, the players, the cameras everywhere. It was wild. I actually met with the First Coast News team before the game, and we were talking about the student section, and I told them it is going to be crazy, and Creekside, you lived up to it. Let's do it again this week.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks, Derek. We actually had a part of last week's game day shown on the 5 o'clock news, so that was really cool. Good PR for us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so our viewers requested that we do a new segment on our show that shows our picking records. So let's take a look.
All right.
Oh, wow. Looks like Derek and Steven are tied at 6-1, and I'm bringing up the rear at 3-4.
Well, I think you just showed us all when you picked. What'd you pick? Robert E. Lee over Bartram last
Robert
week?
E. Lee over Bartram.
Well, there you go, right there.
He has a good sense for
picking.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be one to know one. Well, one thing I am good at is picking the Andrew Morales Player of the Week. And last week's Player of the Week for me was wide receiver Mitch Renda. He was bringing in those passes. He was catching touchdowns. He was just an all-around great player last week, and he's a huge asset to our team. Now, our keys to the game for this coming game tonight is Adam Sandin. Adam, got to be completing passes. We're going to be going with our normal offense. And we're going to be running all over those Falcons.
That's right, Andrew.
All right, so now it's time for the picks, the greatest part of the show, everybody's favorite part of the show, except for mine because I'm 3-4. And please welcome our guest picker this week from Sports Final Radio on 1010XL. Please welcome Jeff Prosser.
Where's the band? I was hoping we'd have a band out here. And let me just correct one thing before we get going. And you did have a great atmosphere here last week, and it was an awesome night. But Dan Hicken doesn't know nothing. Let's just say that up front.
Dan Hicken doesn't know anything.
Correct.
Oh, gosh.
Not proper English. I apologize.
Well, for those who didn't know, Jeff Prosser and Dan Hicken co-host a show called Sports Final Radio on 1010XL. So we're trying to get a bit of a rivalry going between them.
He was afraid to pick last week.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, see, I'm not afraid to show up and pick. I'll put it out there. Plus, with this 3-4, it can't be that hard, right?
It's really not.
All right, so the first game we're doing is the Ponte Vedra Sharks versus the Matanzas Pirates. Steven, what's your pick?
Well, it's really hard to pick against Ponte Vedra. They haven't lost a district game. Perry Orth, a great quarterback out there, and they just look really good. And I think their only loss came from Bartram, and that's just a big feat anyway. So, I'm really looking for the Sharks to come away with a victory this week against Matanzas.
All right, Derek.
Well, Andrew, I think if you fall off a pirate ship, the shark is going to eat you. So I think Ponte Vedra is probably going to win this one.
Class.
All right, Jeff, what's your pick?
I'm already looking forward to the Creekside Ponte Vedra game coming up, later this year. I'm with the fellas. I think Ponte Vedra cruises in this one.
And I've really got to work on getting my record up to par, so I'm going with the Sharks here. All right. So our next game is Bartram versus Atlantic Coast. So, Derek, what's your pick?
Andrew, I think Bartram is a very strong team this year, so I think they're going to have the advantage this week.
All right. Steven?
Well, both are pretty strong teams, but I say it every week, but it's just really hard to pick against Bartram and that offense they have out there, and their defense shows up, and just they've been showing up. So I think if Nate Peterman plays well, he's going to play well and, just knock out the Atlantic Coast. I think a win for Bartram here.
All right. Those Bears, they seem to like to run around everybody.
It's a tough game, though, man. Atlantic Coast has the best defense in the area. They give up less than 100 yards a game. It may be the best defense in the area against the best offense in the area, and Bartram better be careful over in that game. Kevin Sullivan is a heck of a coach at Atlantic Coast. They're a new high school. They're starless right now, but he has a way of getting guys together, and I think this will be a close game. I think Bartram's probably got too much for him, But it's going to be a good game. It's not going to be one of those games where Bartram rolls up 40, 50 points, I don't think.
All right. This is why he's the pro, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So even if my record is in the toilet, I will not, under any circumstances, pick Bartram to win.
Good for you.
Our rivals cannot win. So I pick the Atlantic Coast Stingrays are going to sting the Bears.
Honestly, I think that's a little bit better pick than Robert Ely last week. I think you got a better chance at that one. So.
58-8 says that.
Yeah, that's right.
My odds are a little better.
All right.
You like my joke there? The Stingrays sting the Bears.
Get it.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, and now on to the matchup of the week. It is the big game between the Pedro Menendez Falcons and the almighty Creekside Knights. So, Jeff, what is your pick?
Oh, come on. Where are we at here? Creekside Pride, Creekside High. Go Knights. Yes, it's going to get ugly. It's going to be a bloodletting. It'll be a bath out there. We'll be washing points as the Falcons get their wings clipped. And Beaks comes and picks them up and carries them back down to the southern end of the county, never to be seen from again until next year when we beat them again.
That's right.
I'll say it again. This is why he's the pro.
That's right.
All right. So, Derek, your pick.
I think it's going to be another incredible game with fans, players, cameras. I think Creekside's going to win when they've got all that on their side, for sure.
All right. Steven.
Well, I don't want to jinx anything, so we're all knocking on wood here, but Creekside is undefeated at home this year so far. I think that's not a coincidence. I think the student section has been loud. The fans have been loud, and it gets pretty loud out here. So, I just think if Creekside's defense shows up like they have been and just plays pretty solid, I think our offense is pretty good. So I think it's a win for the Creekside Knights against the Menendez.
Thanks, Steven. And now it's time for my pick. And my pick is kind of the obvious one.
That brings props.
I got to pull off the Lee Corso.
No one looks better in that helmet than you do.
Nobody.
You better be right, Mr. 3 and 4.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you. What is it with our guests? And
You in a night helmet, I just think.
Everybody beats up on me. All right. Well, I pick, like I said earlier in the show, Adam Sandin. He's got to be throwing those passes. He's got to be accurate, which he hasn't not been yet. So I see him completing passes for touchdowns. I want to see Mitch Renda pulling in those passes, and Livio Hoxa running the ball, and Tommy Openshaw.
The ball.
Tommy Openshaw's got to kick it.
Number one.
Do what he does.
Number one. All right. So that's all for KNN High School Game Day for this week. We'll see you in 2 weeks for homecoming week.
I'm excited.
Against the Matanzas Pirates.
Go Knights.
All right.
See you later, Creekside.
All right. Bye, Creekside. Have a great day.